As you all know, with the Rockaway Beach Long Island Railroad line, that was abandoned. I guess they call it abandoned. It was shut down back in the early '60s, and you might as well say it's been abandoned since then. It's been a long stretch of land, and I used to walk on it when I was a young lad. I used to climb up there and walk through there, and it's been overgrown for many years, and it's been the subject of attention the last few years, specifically because there have been a number of people that have some ideas on what to do with this land. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring some folks on to talk about one aspect of it. Want to just say hello to everyone in the chat room there. We got a big whole bunch of people in the chat room there, a lot of good friends. I see Kenny there, Loretta, Tracy, Vance. I see New York Sparks and Marie was in there before, so say hello to everyone there. And I want to bring on, I'm actually doing something here for the first time, bringing on two guests to talk about this. And first I'm going to bring up Shelma. Shelma, are you there?
Hi, this is Shelma.
Hi, Shelma. How are you?
Collaborative. I'm good. How are you
doing?
Shelma,
good. Very, very good. I'm going to bring on Anandi now, if I'm pronouncing that right. Anandi, how are you?
Yes.
Oh, very, very good. Okay, well, listen, welcome aboard. And Shelma, now you're with the Hester Street Collaborative, is that correct?
That's correct.
And Anandi, are you also from Hester Street?
No, I'm with the Friends of the QueensWay.
Okay, terrific, great. All right, so maybe we can start off. Shelma, I can start off with you and answer your question because we've got a lot of people who are really familiar with the debate, I guess, discussion. I don't like to call it a controversy because I think we all want what's best for our communities. But for even those who are very familiar with the debate and familiar with all the players, the name Hester Street Collaborative might be new to them. So can you maybe tell us just a bit about them, what they do, and how they're related to this project?
Sure. So Hester Street Collaborative is a nonprofit organization based in New York City. And basically what we do is we do community-based design work. So what we do is we usually connect with grassroots community-based organizations that are working directly with stakeholders who are trying to answer a question that might need some more in-depth community engagement. And we're able to provide innovative and fun ways to engage community members to get their input on how open spaces are created. And so Hester Street, we are a team member of a much larger team that is co-led by WXY, which is an urban design firm, and DLN Studio landscape architecture firm. So our team was picked to do this planning study on the potential for doing the QueensWay or Green Line on a greenway on the abandoned rail line.
Okay. Okay, and how long has Hester Street been around?
We've been around for almost 12 years.
Okay, terrific. And how many projects of this scale has Hester Street Collaborative been involved in?
We've done several different things that are pretty large scale. The most recent one is we have been working with a bunch of other community-based organizations in the Lower East Side and with Lower Manhattan Cultural Council to do Path to Pier 42, which was a temporary art park in the Lower East Side, just south of East River Park. So this is a huge shed that's also been closed since the late 80s. It used to be a banana shed, and it's going to we actually worked with a bunch of other organizations starting in 2007 to acquire capital funding to create a permanent park there. And so now that permanent park process is happening through the Parks Department, and Matthews Nielsen, which is the landscape architecture firm that was chosen by the Parks Department. And while that's happening, we said, hey, this is going to take 5 to 10 years to build, but people need this open space now. So we've been doing, so this summer, through a collaborative process with residents and stakeholders in the neighborhood, we created a temporary art park, which will also be done next year and the following year as well.
Okay, very, very good. Thanks. I mean, it's good. Like I said, a lot of people, are not really familiar, and I urge them to Google them, look them up on the internet. They got a website that you can go and learn a bit more about them. Now, switching gears to Anandi, you're with Friends of the QueensWay, so that's a relatively new organization that has started up, I guess, just in the last year and a half, 2 years, perhaps.
We gathered around November, December 2011.
Okay.
And
so tell us a bit now. Right now, I mean, we kind of know that they're advocating for the for the QueensWay. How many members do you have with you guys right now?
well, the steering committee is about 6 to 7 members who live along the line on various parts. I represent the southern part of the QueensWay,
Okay.
in Ocean Park. I live right across from it, and we have supporters over 2,000 right now.
Okay, very good, very, very good. All right, so now when someone says the word QueensWay to you, I mean, what is it that what comes to mind right away for you? What do you envision the QueensWay becoming?
A cultural community greenway, a space where families and friends can gather, a safe way to walk all the way from Ozone Park to possibly shopping places like Trader Joe's, even to Forest Park, because Woodhaven Boulevard right now is the newest boulevard of death, and I don't feel walking along that path. And in some instances, you really can't walk along that path. And
Okay.
so I felt, I was like, wow, wouldn't it be great if this abandoned rail line could be turned into a great walking path with, native plants and trees and, spaces even for people to bike across and just sit and enjoy a bit of quiet, because along this area where I live in, there's really no green spaces. There are playgrounds and asphalt, but no green spaces where you can really sit and relax in an open space.
Okay, so now in terms of, you hit on one of the issues there in terms of, you're talking about walking along and in safety. And I know, safety and security has been an issue, and personally one of the concerns that I have with it. So I guess I'm throwing this question out for both of you. So far, I know that we have this meeting, I guess the first of 3 sessions. I don't know if you want to call them meetings or what, but community outreaches. And it's going to be here in Woodhaven next Wednesday on the 13th at 7 p.m. at Emanuel United Church of Christ, 91st Avenue, Woodhaven Boulevard. So what kind of community outreach has been performed so far, and what kind of feedback are you guys getting?
Okay, this is Shelma, and so really for this project that's being administered through the Trust for Public Land has really just started off like a month and a half ago. This is a brand new project. I'm doing this planning study, and it's going to be a 10-month study, and we're hoping to be able to come up with a really good proposal at the end of it. And we think that community engagement is so important at every step of the way. So we really want to get people engaged at the very beginning. So right now, we're just doing some site analysis. We're doing site surveying. We don't have any plans or specific ideas of what's going to be happening there. Right now we're in full listening mode. So we want to hear what everybody has to say. We want to hear what you're excited about, what you're concerned about, what worried you, what you would envision yourself doing. And so we're really doing a really deep community engagement process around this project. And the community workshops that you were talking about is really just one part of them. So we're doing 3 community workshops, public workshops over the next 2 weeks. The first one, as you mentioned, is at Emanuel Christ Church on this Wednesday, November 13th. And then we're doing one at the Metropolitan Expeditionary Learning School up in Forest Hills the following Tuesday on November 19th. And then one at the Ozone Park Senior Center on November 20th. And so this first series of workshops really is for people to come and give us their ideas and their concerns and their feedback and their thoughts. Ed, you and I have spoken, and you've said that, people have been waiting for a long time to get their opinions heard, and this is really going to be the place where people can come and give us their feedback. And so this is really where we get your initial feedback. And then we also recognize that, not everybody wants to come to a formal workshop. Not everybody has time to come to a workshop specifically dedicated to the QueensWay. So we're also in the process of creating a mobile tool. So it'll be a tool that we can take to schools and libraries and churches and senior centers and all different community-based spaces that people are already hanging out at. And then we'll be doing some more informal outreach that way through January and February. We'll be reaching out and doing probably 10 to 14 events that are more informal and more kind of in places that people are already hanging out. And then on top of that, we're also going to be doing some, there's a media platform called MindMixer. We have a website called the QueensWayPlan.mindmixer.com, and it's like an online forum where anybody can sign up, and there can be discussions and thoughts and ideas and comments, and, you know, you can really have more deeper and meaningful conversations and discussions with other residents and other people on the project on that website. And so we're going to take all this information, we're going to take all the physical site surveying that we've done, and we're going to come up with 2 alternatives. And so we're going to come back to you and do another series of 3 workshops in the spring where we're going to come up with 2 alternatives and get your specific feedback on some of the ideas that we're proposing. And then we'll take that and come up with a final report.
Interesting. Listen, I think it's a good approach. I think you know, again, there are residents. You know, you're going to have all kind of a big range of opinions on this project. Some folks are, you know, extremely positive and encouraging. Other people are flat out against it. Other people have very, very, you know, serious concerns. You know, some people are just kind of ambivalent. So, you know, you're going to have to reach out and hear from them. And I think it's good that you're going to come back with different proposals that have a different, you know, level. Can you tell me some of the? Have you heard some of the concerns of residents so far? And I guess, Anandi, I know you have for sure, because I guess you guys had the meeting last month, which ended up being a little bit of engagement. So I mean, have you guys heard some of that feedback, some of their concerns, and have you started developing some kind of way to address them?
Yeah, we've definitely been hearing concerns, you know, in a way to make sure that we're getting people out and people know about these workshops. We've been reaching out to community-based organizations all throughout the neighborhoods adjacent. We've been reaching out to residents associations, civic associations, Queens Community House, you know, the Forest Hills Activity League, and churches. So we've been reaching out to all these organizations, and as we do, you know, inevitably we're hearing some of these concerns that people have been saying. And, you know, these are very valid concerns, and, you know, we take them very seriously. For example, you know, I'm sure you've heard some people are worried about safety and having people on a pathway behind their backyard. Some people are worried about maintenance of the greenway, you know, and other people are worried about if there's enough of a police presence to be able to man another additional park or greenway in this neighborhood. And I think that these, like I said, these are very valid concerns, and we want to hear these concerns from everybody, because when we know what they are, they're going to allow us to make stronger and better proposals at the end.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a real good, you know, overall question is, who is going to be responsible for a QueensWay as laid out from Ozone Park, down into really Forest Hills? Is that covered by Parks Department? Lighting, is that covered by Department of Transportation? Is the NYPD going to be responsible for security, 24/7? Those are questions, that are really forefront in a lot of our concerns.
Definitely. I think those are really big concerns, and, we just don't have the answers to those questions right now because we're just at the very beginning of our process. And, we're hoping to, through all our studies about, how much it would cost, how much it would, we're definitely going to be calculating maintenance costs and having a maintenance plan as part of our project proposal and as our report. Right now, currently, the space is under the jurisdiction of the City of New York. Part of it is parkland and part of it is through DCAS. And, the way that the determination of who's going to be, whose jurisdiction it's going to be under and all that stuff is really not going to be figured out until, it won't even really be talked about until we get to the report. And then, when capital funding starts to be raised, those discussions will be done more seriously.
Yeah, those are, I guess those are, like I said, areas that we're a little concerned about just simply because of the current situation in the park. I'm a very, very big supporter of the park that we do have. Forest Park. Use it frequently. Travel to it all the time. I think Anandi can also back me up. I'm sure she's been there many times. It's a beautiful space. But they have had troubles with that park many times. Community Board 9 has come out a number of times. The executive director there, Marion Carey for Community Board 9, has been saying that it's been a problem for over 20 years, and that the police, the question she asks here, which was in the Queens Courier, is basically how can you cover nearly 600 acres of park? The police are doing the best they can, but there's really not much else they can do because it's such a big park already. So to extend that and to ask the police or the city to maintain it when they're having trouble maintaining what's already there is a great concern to residents. And I think, hearing that it's going to be discussed at the end might not be such the best approach, because that is something that's going to scare people off. And, we're already, again, battling just to keep the lights on in Forest Park while women are jogging. And while there is a rapist in the park, we can't even keep the lights on. So it's a little bit scary to talk about extending this so close to people's homes. I think those are questions that we'd like to hear really addressed earlier in the process and waiting to the end. My 2 cents. But I think it might be easier to get people to listen if those kind of questions were answered up front.
I hear you, Ed. I really do. And I will definitely, take that back and take that feedback back to the team. I think we definitely recognize the importance of maintenance costs, and it'll be carefully considered through this entire process. And, we're definitely thinking about it now. We're not waiting until the end to think about it, but
right.
I guess more of what I was saying is that we're not really going to be able to present something until we have a clear idea of what the obstacles are.
Sure.
And what kind of design is even possible on the site.
All right. Well, listen, I tell you, we're looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say on next Wednesday. I'm sure it's going to be a fun event. We've encouraged our members to come out, and what we're also encouraging people is to go in, with a completely blank slate. It's up until now. There's been a lot of back and forth, and sometimes things get a little misrepresented. I mean, a good example is a picture that was on the. You guys got a great plug from the Huffington Post last week, the QueensWay, and but the picture on there showed like this mob of people. It's just. It was an artist rendering done like 2 years ago. But like when you see things like that, people have to realize that nothing has been designed yet.
I did see that, and I also found the timing to be a little unfortunate because, we're really emphasizing nothing has been planned. We don't have an idea. We want to hear what you have to say first before we even think about what it's going to look like. Right.
Listen, absolutely. The only way people are going to engage each other civilly and to come to what's best for everybody is if they come to this with, open ears on all sides. So. Really looking forward to seeing you guys next week. It's going to be a nice event. Again, we're gonna recommend all our residents to come on out, and we look forward to seeing you then.
Great. I look forward to seeing you too.
Yes, and we encourage everyone to come out.
Thank you, Shelma and Andy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ed. We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right. Good night.